Hello people of YouTube and welcome back. So you've seen me do pickups and what crap I put on the shelves. Now it's time to see, do I actually play any of these games? And the answer is sometimes. Yeah, probably not as much as it comes in, but I do play my games. And I actually sometimes even beat them. And that is what we're going to be discussing today. So if you've been following along, every 3 months I've been trying to do an update of what I've been playing on the 52 game challenge. This isn't exclusively what I've been playing. I've been playing a lot of arcade and PC Engine really, and Saturn as well. I've been playing Salamander quite a lot, trying to keep Dylan off the top score. But unfortunately, he's beat me now. So we're on to the next game, and I can't get on the top of that because everyone else is better than me. So I'll just put on a game that I know I can beat, which is a modern game. So most of these are modern games because I just know I can beat them. But yeah, first up, I think someone was playing a God of War game. I think it must probably who would it have been? Geordie Slasher probably. Away the games. And he was playing a God of War game, and I thought, you know what? The only one I've left to play is God of War Ascension. And I kind of got put off with it a little bit because everyone's like, "Oh, it's a really bad game. It's not the same as the others," and that this, that, and the other. And well, to be honest, I really enjoyed it, and I think it's because I went in with such a low opinion of it that I came out kind of like not blown away. Really, didn't blow me away or anything like that, but I really enjoyed it. It is just your typical God of War hack and slash. That works so well, except there's something about it that just isn't. It doesn't. This is the last one to come out on the PS3, I believe. This came out after 3, so kind of technically 4. But yeah, it didn't do enough to sort of like elevate it up the ranks like how the other God of War's games did. And to be honest, for me, that's totally fine. I was craving this kind of a game for a long time. It seems to be a game that's sort of like forgotten about a little bit. You get like hack and slash style games, but it's not the same as this really. It's not like sort of like that elevated isometric look where you're a smaller character. It's like everything is more like sort of like a third person view hack and slash these days. So yeah, similar gameplay, but just I don't know. There's something about the feel of looking down and feeling like a badass that I've missed so much. And yeah, great game. Like if you're on the fence of playing it, definitely give this a go because I loved it. Talking about games I loved. Legacy Larry, Wet Dreams Don't Dry. So if you saw on my last pickups, I actually bought the sequel to this, and yeah, this is a this is a great game. I mean, it's really lewd and crude, but that if it wasn't, then it wouldn't be Legacy Larry. So yeah, basically, without spoiling too much, basically he wakes up and he's sort of like in the future, in present times, but he still thinks the same way as back in the 80s and stuff like that. So he's going through, he's gone to Lefty's. It starts off at Lefty's, which is the original bar. And yeah, the adventure begins, and it's fantastic. It's just Legacy Larry for the future, for the present day sort of thing, and it's really good. It even starts off with if you played the original on the Amiga or whatever system you did, you had to pass a age test, and that was just a series of questions, and that is on here, and you even get an achievement for it if you pass it. So yeah, I was fortunately enough I was old enough to play this. Yeah, definitely recommend that. Great point and click adventure. Talking about another great game, Mayhem Brawler. Yeah, this is sort of like Streets of Rage 4 looking, but a little bit more cartoony, but a little bit more over the top. Now, I beat this game, and it's not like the longest game. Really enjoyable game. However, it really sort of like makes what's the word I'm thinking about? Yeah, you want to play this more than once basically, because you've got multiple paths to go through. There's different storylines that you can go through, and I think there's different stages as well. So I really need to go back and play this. I played this on the actual PS4, on the TV, And I said, oh, next time I'm going to go play this is going to be on the arcade, because it's just that sort of a game. Side-scrolling brawler, as it sort of suggests on there. Comic book affair. Fantastic. Yeah, it's like you between stages you've got like these comic strips, and then you get to choose your path that you want to go to. And yeah, it's fantastic. Beautiful graphics. It's like, it's a very basic-y sort of like playing. It's not as deep as sort of like Streets of Rage 4 or anything like that. But it is a really good game, and I'm really glad to have got this, really. It's one of them limited ones, so it comes with a nice poster. But yeah, you can get, I think you should get this like less than a tenner, less than a fiver in the sales, I think, if you're lucky on the digital store. Next up, was in a bit of a horror kick before on the last half, and yeah, I just still fancied a bit more horror, so I played Man of Medan, which is the Dark Pictures. Now, a lot of people discuss this, saying it's a really good game. This is, I think, my third attempt at playing it. Yeah, it's sort of like, I really loved, what's it called? Okay, now what's it called? But the original sort of like horror slasher game that was on the PS4, Until Dawn. That's it. Really enjoyed that, and I think because I enjoyed it so much, like any kind of game that's similar to that, I kind of like it's on that level. It's got to be on that level, and this is just a bit under the level. And yeah, it started off okay. Then it sort of like just the storyline dipped a little bit for me. However, and that's why I kind of like stopped playing it. It was like when you went into like this underwater bit, and I just kind of got a bit bored of it. And I tried it again, couldn't get through because I got bored. Then I played it again for this time, and I just thought, fuck it, I'm gonna have to beat this game now, and I did. And honestly, it got better. It got better. It really did. And then there was a trailer at the end for Little Hope, and that really hyped me up. I think Little Hope is going to be the one that's going to sort of like save the Dark Pictures. Yeah, it's a solid 7 out of 10 game. It really is. I don't know. I just couldn't connect with the characters. They just didn't feel like they worked together. They didn't seem like they should belong together, and I think that's probably what it was. It just seemed so surreal, just weird. Not surreal, but like just weird. It just didn't work. Next up, a game set similar kind of lines. Doom Eternal. Now this game is badass. It really is. Quite stunning and everything. Why am I showing it like it's pickups? Quite stunning visually and everything like that. But because I loved the original game so much, I couldn't get on with it. I think they added too much to this. It became a little bit fiddly to play because you had all these extra mechanics, or at least I'm sure it felt like that way. Maybe I'm just not as good at these kind of games as I was when I played Doom last. Yeah, and I had to. I think I might have reduced the difficulty down to play it, and I still think it kicked my ass a little bit. But yeah, it's a good game. The thing is, it's a good game for the price because you can get this quite cheap nowadays. I still recommend, if you're only going to play one of them, play the original, because that is so much better. Though this does have like advantages. It does like look a little bit prettier than the other one. But I don't know. I just felt like the levels just felt like, I was just going around being a complete badass in the original, and I feel like I was a little bit stumbling along, not being a badass on this game. I think I got to grips with it sometimes, but it just didn't have that same feeling I had when I played the original. Like I say, still a good game. It's just, I don't know, these games that like come out and they're like a 10 or 9 or a 10, and then the next one's like a 7 or 8. I can't get on board with them, even though a 7 or 8 game is still a good game. Next up, we have got, well, we started Nintendo month, and we have got Mother 2. So this is also known as Earthbound. So this is on the Super Famicom. It's an RPG. I'm sure you all know what this is. But yeah, obviously I didn't play this on the Super Nintendo. I played it on the Switch as part of like the yearly online thing. You get to play Super Nintendo games. Originally, I wanted to play Super Mario RPG because I can't play that on my Super Nintendo because my EverDrive doesn't allow it, and my Japanese version, well, I can't speak Japanese, so I just like these little sort of like physical reminders of what games I would like to play, pretty much. And now I've played it, and what can I say? Yeah, it's good. Is it what, £1,000, £2,000, whatever it goes for these days? Good? Definitely not. It really isn't. However, it is just a really good RPG that you don't have to really put much thinking power into while you're playing it. It's pretty straightforward. There's not much like world retracking or anything like that. But yeah, no, it's like a really beautiful game. The last boss, I think I actually had to figure out what to do, because what do you have to do? You have to do something weird to beat him, and I can't remember what it was now. I can't remember. Gygus at the end, which was just like a big glitch screen. But yeah, no, it's like a really cool adventure in time. Yeah, really good. I really recommend everyone who's got a Switch Online account to play this, because it's a good game. Good game. Just not worth the money that it goes for. And again, another one like that. Demon Blazon, or what is this called? What's it called? Fucking hell, Gargoyle's Quest. Basically, this is a sequel to Gargoyle's Quest. It's called something like Pal. Can't remember what it's called. You'll fucking share this, aren't I? Played this on an actual Super Nintendo. Yes, I played this. The cartridge, the game. I played it properly, how it should be played. And what can I say? Yeah, it's a good game. Again, is it worth the ridiculous money that this goes for? Definitely not. But yeah, it's a really good game. I think a lot of people, because these games are worth so much, to put them on a high pedestal, and they're not really worth it. They're really not, but it's still a good game. I love the whole Ghouls and Ghosts sort of like spin-offs. I just love the artwork and everything like that. I just love everything about it, and because of that, I do really enjoy this game. However, it's not as good as Gargoyle's Quest or Gargoyle's Quest 2 on the NES. What suffered a little bit for me for this is like when you're going out on, it's like flying over the overworld. That's really simple. It's even though it's like kind of like mode 7 and everything like that, there's not much to it other than that. Whereas when you played the originals, it was like you was going out for an RPG, sort of like adventure, and then when you were going into battles, it was just a bit more fun. And then the actual meat and potatoes of the game, the actual platforming was so much better on the original. There was like so much like verticality. This just felt like you was going left and right and then up and down every so often. So yeah, the thing is that elevates this and gives it a better score is it's absolutely stunning. It's such a stunning game, and the music is beautiful. It's just like pinnacle sort of Super Nintendo music and everything like that. Definitely worth a play. Could I recommend you go out and buy it? Probably not, unless you're a nutter. But yeah, cool game nonetheless. And I'm glad I beat it, because now I know. Oh, right, okay. So that's where it was. So next up, we've got Devil's Third for the Wii U. This is another Nintendo Month game. And yeah, this is one of them games. Again, I think this is what I like. Slated as soon as it came out. And I think because of that, it had like really poor sales. But flipping heck, I really enjoyed this game so much. It was just like a cheesy late 90s, early 2000s movie. A guy that was sort of like, he's got like loads of tattoos all over him, like surreal tattoos and stuff, and then he's kind of going into sort of like a action world. It just seemed so out of place because he was sort of like some samurai in an American style action film. But yeah, it's just weird, but I've just loved it because of it. People said it was bad controls, bad frame rate. I found it perfectly playable, perfectly acceptable, perfectly good. I really enjoyed it. Maybe it's because I've just been playing some retro style games and then come into this and I enjoyed it more. But yeah, it's a really weird mix up of third person gameplay, like hack and slash, and first person shooter. It like goes between like styles, which is probably a bit of a detriment to it, but because it does neither of them well. But I don't know, it's just got that like sort of like charm, and the fact it was published by Nintendo and it's an 18 plus game. No, Nintendo really did not need to publish this, but they did. It's such an odd choice for them to have picked up because I mean, I don't know. I think it would have done a lot better on other systems, but this just started off with like controversy from the start. I can remember like when it first came out before we got it. It came out in America and like instantly it was like 100-200 quid game, and then like it came out, so like everyone in the UK bought it. But I think because everyone bought it straight away in the UK, they made more games for the UK version, and it became a lot more common in the UK. But it seems weird now because this now becomes really expensive. This was like literally last year it was like a 10 quid game, and now it's not. But yeah, anyway, nothing about collecting wise. This is a good game. Definitely play it if you can get it cheap, or if you already have it in your collection before people started, I don't know, doing something about it. Next up, Sparklight, back onto the PS4. We played this, and it's a roguelike action RPG. Well, not RPG. It's not an RPG. It's an action sort of like Zelda style clone. Really good. Well, is it really good? It's not. It's there's like 4 different lands that you can go around. So it's not like the biggest of games or anything. However, it'll take you a long time to beat it, or at least it did for me, because it's a roguelike. You start off like underpowered. You start battling, you die, you use some of the stuff that you've collected to help power yourself up, and then you try again and try and get as far as you can. And I really do like that formula. I really do. It's a really beautiful game. I love the hack and slash of it. But then I got to the boss and I was like, I couldn't beat it. It was like really easy until I got to the final boss. And then I had to pretty much put the same time in again, powering myself up to beat the boss as it was to get to the boss. And it wasn't the boss itself, because the first boss I like chipped away at and like actually got quite well beating it. But then it became like into like this horde mode, and that's when it got really hard for me because it was just overpowering me all the time. But yeah, so I just had to go back, like power myself up a little bit more, and then have at it. But yeah, like there's a lot of collectibles to collect in this, and because of that I just got addicted. I love things that you collect a lot of stuff for. And yeah, if you can get this again, if you can get this cheap, which I think is about a 10 quid game, do so, because it's a really fun game. So I felt I was neglecting my PlayStation 2, so I got a couple of games. Played them. Gungrave. Now I heard there's a sequel coming out, and it made me think, let's get this on, shall we? And Jesus Christ, why have I not played this before? This is absolutely badass. It's not a very long game either. It was probably about 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours, if that. It took me just one sitting to beat it. And yeah, I'm so glad I don't. It's another game by Red Entertainment, which I've played quite a few Red Entertainment games this year. I didn't even really know who they were until I started playing them. Strange. But yeah, like this is just a full-on action, over the top sort of like third-person game. Really good, really fun game. I don't really know what else to say about this one though. That's the only thing. It's not, if you don't spend too much on it, 'cause I don't think it isn't too much of an expensive game, but this really set me up to make me want to play the modern game, because I'd love this in a more modern world. But yeah, next up, again going through the PlayStation 2, I picked up Astro Boy. I didn't pick it up, I played Astro Boy. Now I was watching something about Astro Boy recently, and like, what was I going to say? Yeah, something about Astro Boy, and I a lot of people say that this is the better version, so I played this one first, and it's sort of like a 3D world action platformer. But yeah, I'm here to say this isn't that great. It's not. I've played so many better average ones than this. Just felt a bit clunky. There was like the overworld where you fly between places. Just felt like I kept getting lost. But I battled through it and I beat it. And I thought, oh, maybe this is the wrong one. So I'll play the other one. And maybe this is the hidden gem. No, this isn't the hidden gem either. This is a platformer, run and gun, shooter levels, shmup levels. So average it hurts. There's nothing to say that's good about this. Once you played the first couple of levels, you played them all. But yeah, I went and beat it. And now I can say I beat him. I really like the Astro Boy world. At least the Game Boy Advance one is better. I'm still not beating it yet though. So I was going to play it after that, but I never got around to it. Instead, I wanted something I knew what a lot of people have said is good to take the bitterness of that out. And it is Kaze. Now this is a really good game. However, again, I think I might have overhyped it a little bit because it just wasn't quite as A-rated as what some of the PS4 2D games were. Don't get me wrong, this is a really good game. Gets very difficult, and a lot of people akin it to the Donkey Kong games on the Wii U for difficulty, and it is that difficult. However, I think with Donkey Kong it feels a little bit more fair than this. Yeah, it becomes really easy to start off with, and then it gets a lot more difficult. Definitely recommend getting it. It's a beautiful game, but yeah, just a few things that just didn't hit the high notes as what I was hoping it would do. But I just love a good action platforming game, and this scratched the itch. It got rid of the bad taste of Astro Boys and everything like that, so it did something good. But anyway, that is what I have been playing. Let me know what you thought about those. That's, I think, 13 games played in the last 3 months. I say played, beaten, because I have played a few more. A couple more that I didn't beat. I can't remember what they are on the top of my head because I'm not very good at remembering. Getting old. But yeah, that brings me up 13 games on top of what I played before. That brings me up to 44 games beat in 9 months. So I've got 8 games to play, beat over the next 3 months. That's doable. I think we can do that. We're on track for a 52 game challenge, and usually in December, that is when my game playing sort of like really heightens. Although I'm quite busy this year, quite busy. So that with all these beat, I can now take them all to CEX and trade them in and get some more money for more games. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.